Oh, I go first?
You go first, man.
All right. So, um, I have a lovely Viking warrior fiance, Sarah. She grew up in Sweden, which is why she's my Viking warrior fiance. Um, so how did we meet? We met at the height of COVID, actually,
On the internet.
on the internet. Yes. Speaking to the microphone already. So we met through the one of those online dating things, and it was pretty cool because because it was COVID, you were kind of forced to actually like have a conversation with someone. Like usually you're swiping right or swipe. You guys have been married for a long time, so
Yeah.
you,
We never did
they
that.
have these
No.
apps where you swipe right or you swipe left. So that's how we met.
Okay.
So we talked probably before we met, probably for a good week and a half, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Probably about that. Every single night for hours and hours and hours. And it was like, bam, it was great. And then we met at a Panera Bread, right? At a Panera Bread, and the rest was history, as they say. So it
It
was
was
kind of cool.
open. The Panera
It
Bread
was open. So it was like restrictions,
Okay.
but you can still go in. So it was cool.
And you had masks on, so you couldn't see each other's
had,
faces,
had masks. We couldn't, yeah, until you had to go sit down and eat. Then you could take your mask off.
which makes plenty of sense.
Total sense. Yeah, absolutely. Total 100% sense. So that's how we met. And yeah, then I think I told the story on a few episodes ago about how I proposed to her on a beautiful beach in Cabo. Tell him it was one of the most romantic things that ever happened.
It was the most romantic thing that's ever happened to me.
Yes. Yes.
Did you pay her to say that, or is that
I
true?
did. Yeah. I slipped her a hundy before the show. So
Blink twice if you're being held against your will.
so
Will
that's
the
it.
engagement last through this podcast?
Maybe. We'll see.
Yes, we'll see.
We'll see how the interview goes.
Thanks for
grilling?
having me.
The grilling.
You're welcome.
I guess it's my
Jason.
turn.
Yes, your turn.
So this is my lovely wife, Leah.
Hi, Leah.
We have been married for 10 years this past August.
Wow. Has
Yeah.
it been 10 years?
10
Yeah.
years. It's crazy. 10 best years ever. How did we meet? We met playing dodgeball, actually. I joined this there's this league called Zog Sports down here in the city. And I played football, I played softball, and I joined my bunch of my friends started a dodgeball team. So playing dodgeball. Well, and one of our mutual friends, someone she went to college with and I went to Israel with, was asking women if they wanted to play because you tend to always be short on the ladies when it comes to those sports for some reason. Not as many want to play. So Leah stepped up and she's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll play." None of her friends wanted to play, but she wanted to play, so she joined our team, and that's how we met. And then we played for, I don't know, what was it, like a year and a half before we started dating, approximately. She was on the team. You were on the team for
Yeah.
about a year and a half before we started dating. And that's it. And the rest is history.
Wait, why did it take a year and a half?
Oh, he has no game.
Oh, this is how we're starting? Oh, my God.
Oh, I warned him. I warned him I was going to be like this.
It doesn't bother me. I don't really care.
It doesn't bother him. He's good. He has no game.
So yeah. So yeah. I don't know. Took a year and a half.
Can I tell them how you have no game?
No.
Can I tell the story?
Oh,
Which
yes,
story?
absolutely.
Which story?
Listen, we're here
Shayna's
now.
birthday party.
Oh, sure. You could tell that story. I don't care. I don't get embarrassed.
Dodgeball, like the afternoon of like a friend on our team's party, and Jason and I are like,
I
and
think
this
it
is,
was a
like,
Valentine's Day party, wasn't it? Or was her birthday? Something like that. I don't
I think her
remember.
birthday is Valentine's Day, or like
It's right around there. Yeah.
It was like right before we started dating. I think we went on our first date like the next week. and we're walking to the train, and Jason's having a whole conversation with me about how like this girl arranged to have another girl there for him to meet, and how like he wanted them to get together. This whole conversation.
No,
And
she wanted us to get together.
she wanted them to get together. And then like I get home and I'm talking to a friend, and they're like, "Oh, like, I think he likes you." I was like, not so sure. He just talked to me for like 25 minutes about this other girl he's supposed to hook up with tonight. And then he texts me and he's like, "She's not going to be able to make it." And I'm like, okay, cool. So now I tell people he has no game because he spent the entire time talking to me about another girl.
But that wasn't my fault.
Somebody here.
I was just telling you what was happening. That's all.
Keeping me in the loop.
Keeping you in the loop. And then the day before our first date, we played, if you guys have ever played the game Never Have I Ever.
Yes.
So we played that game with our friends at a bar after dodgeball the day before our first date. So you tend to learn a lot about people on that during that game. So that was interesting.
Learned a lot about each other. Things that you probably wouldn't learn until year 2 in a relationship.
We learned before our first date. See?
Save time.
Exactly.
Save time.
That's right. Just get right to
Right to the point very quickly.
You still love me.
It's debatable sometimes.
All right, Kevin, it's your turn.
All right, I guess it's my turn. So, yes. So, of course, I've known my wife Allison for almost as long as I've known you guys, frankly. So we met at Oswego, and it was, I think, Professor Hun's history of broadcasting class that she sat in front of me, and that's when we started, talking to each other, and it was the rest is, as they say, history from there. So that was what, Allison, 20
October of 1997.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, 20, I can't do math. Is that 26, 27, something like that?
27
It's a long
years.
time ago.
27
Yeah.
years.
And Jay was also sitting with you and Maria.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, so technically I met you
I
at
didn't
the
even
same
know.
time.
Who knew?
And normally I would choose my seat and then sit in that seat the whole semester. But for some reason, that was the only class that I moved from one side of the room to the other and sat in front of you guys. And then I'd always find my seat because I was just look for the Mets jacket. And I'm like, oh yeah, sit in front of the blue and orange. And that was before I liked baseball. And so, yeah. And then I fell for the oldest trick in the book that he dropped his pen and I picked it up and we started talking. So.
No,
Did you do that on purpose?
That wasn't on purpose.
I don't think that was on purpose.
I was
You think
dropping
I have
stuff.
no game? Kevin's just as bad as I am.
Oh no, I have no game. None.
That's great.
But then, she sang the national anthem before the men's hockey games at Oswego, and I was play-by-play broadcaster, so that was another thing that we had in common, and and then it just on from there. So
And then Kevin and I lived together, and then she'd bring us donuts, and she'd bring us munchkins home every day when she worked at Dunkin'.
That's right. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I would wear my hockey shirt, and that's kind of how we got talking in my Genesis shirt. So
yeah, see that? I mean, she liked hockey and Genesis. I mean, case closed.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin could talk about Genesis for like 3 days straight without stopping.
That's right.
yeah. And then my advisor screwed up and said I needed that class pass fail, and I didn't. I needed it for a grade, which really doesn't matter to me. I study and not study, get the same grade. But so I was like, oh, I'm gonna, hook up with the smartest guy in the class, but I actually beat him by 2 points on our paper because I'm really good at
BSing.
making stuff up.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, that I was like, what am I saying? And yeah, so that's how it all started.